I'm Jeff Schroeder. I'm with Methodist Health Systems. I am in the corporate construction department. I've had the opportunity on this job to be in a lead position, but honestly with a great collaborative team as we talk about collaboration. Great design partner, David Collins with Perkins & Will. And then Wes Duke with Rogers O'Brien Construction. Can't say enough about him and his leadership on the construction team.
The whole building really started because of the Affordable Care Act. The building had to be extremely flexible. So the biggest thing we really did was we decided to take 3 nursing units, the CVICU, the telemetry, the med-surg, and instead of putting them in a configuration where they couldn't work together, we basically stringed them back to back to back. So all of a sudden we had a building that was typically maybe 180 feet wide that became over 500 feet long. And how do you put a 550 foot long bed tower on a site that's not 550 feet long? So that's where the curve came in. So it's 3 nursing units that can really interact with each other and grow and shrink as the demographics of the patients come and go.
The story overall, high level, is it is the complexity of this building.
Right.
You know, having to use, I wasn't, maybe I should have been more aware, but I wasn't aware that not everything was truly dimensioned because of the complexity of the building. And without the GPS, I think it's the total station or whatever it's called, the GPS location device, utilizing iPads and all of the technology, that's how we're able to lay out these walls.
And have repeatability.
I honestly don't know how you could be successful laying this building out with a 17-month schedule without a collaborative environment.
Without us sharing the Revit model and just the collaboration and the attitude that we could build this building, it's a one-of-a-kind building. This is a building of a lifetime, I think, for all 3 organizations.
Right, because just as you're getting at, the sharing of the model and the CAD files allowed us to give that repeatability from floor to floor and area to area. And the guy's taking that information, putting it in a robotic total station, and a guy can go out there and lay out that whole third of the floor in a day by himself.
Right. We draw on all the dimensions on the plan.
In a black sheet, there would be no white.
Right.
Core group got to sit down and go have dinner and talk about what collaboration meant to the group and come up with this list here that we have in front of us. A few of the highlights, it talks about decision making and problem solving, honesty and trust, listening and communication, conflict resolution, life-work balance, innovation, and most importantly, positive attitude. That is one strength that this team has had that has just impressed me to no end, that everybody's a positive attitude. It's whatever you need, how can I help each other? There's no line that this is yours and you need to do it. If I see something, I'm helping him, and he does vice versa. And the design team's doing the same.
You know what's so great about this is that this is not a true IPD project. So this is a project that that we're not sharing risk and reward, but we're really in this all together, like you said, and it's about doing the right project for the client.
We've had our fair share of challenges on the building, you know, with just some information, data that wasn't as early as we wanted to be on the project. And I think that because of the covenant, the things on this covenant, the people, that the desire to make this building, you know, come to fruition, that's the only way we could absorb the challenges that were thrown our way.
And I think the covenant is something that, you know, was prevalent throughout the entire process, but at the same time, we took time to get to know each other. We had retreats, we had, you know, beer Thursdays, we got together with all the major subs and got to know everybody as people and individuals. And I think when you get to know people, you want to help them, and you want to find a way to work together, and you're looking them straight in the eye, and you're creating a bond that we're going to do this right. We're going to do a good job together.
Yeah, we found out who can play golf and who can shoot.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know, I'm going to say this one story. I told you I was going to say this one. you know, we have the typical RFIs, which is good, but how did you get to that RFI? And then how do you track that later on, or go back and say, why did we do what we did? And using the A3s of collecting all the data. And I think about the one that I'll have to own up to, that I had to, you know, like I said, I was on an island by myself, was using the frit on the glass. I'm not a fan of the frit, but the team overwhelmingly said that it's the right thing to do. Yep. And I'll say as an owner, it's great when you see the team seriously come together and say, hey, really, this is the right thing.
Well, we felt strongly about it because the building basically does face due west. Mm-hmm. And I think in August and September, early September, you know, without the frit, it was just the right thing to do.
This one was a challenge, I think, to say the least. We prefabricated the bathroom pods, and we weren't planning on doing the floors, but from lessons learned and from other clients throughout just the DFW Metroplex, we learned that if you really want to get the best value, you need to do the entire bathroom pod, including the floor. The labor force, being able to come in on consistent days, no matter what the weather was, to be able to go in there and work in a controlled environment. It makes a much better product. It's better on the schedule. It's just a more predictable environment.
It is. It is. It will help. It helps the project overall. Just as you're getting at, we've had some hurdles on this one. The group as a whole has learned some things on this one that we can carry forward. So when we do prefabrication again, it's going to be a much better product. Mm-hmm.
And I think it wasn't just the prefab, but because we were able to do all the prefab in a controlled environment, we really did the true mock-ups for the bathrooms and the rooms.
Yeah. Let's talk about mock-ups.
You know, the mock-ups were wonderful. I mean, yeah, they took longer than we thought, just because so many people from the user side and the architect side and the contractor and owner side really wanted to have a part of it. But in the end, I think everybody made the right decision, and it's going to turn out to be a beautiful room and restaurant. I think it got a lot of people excited, and it just kept pushing the project further.
Well, it definitely did, and you know, the nurses, when they come over and saw, we did a full mock-up that was a completed corridor and 2 patient rooms back to back. So that we did the corridor because we wanted to see the light cove. We've got an enormous amount, over a mile light cove on the project. Mm-hmm. Wanted to see how did that look on these radiuses in and out, and how much of the light you're going to see. So we mocked that up with 2 rooms next to each other. Completely fitted the room out all the way to flowers. And to watch those nurses actually come in, there was 2 of them that broke down in tears. Yeah. When they actually saw the room and got to going through it. They were so excited. So that made it a win for everybody.
So how do we check the pulse of the team throughout the duration of the project? And that's one of the things, using the core team, I think has been very beneficial, bringing the core group together. There's about 7 or 8 of us to really figure out how do we monitor and track the pulse of the team. And we utilize the Survey Monkey. It's a great tool, but there's lessons learned. There's some things that we have to do to make that more successful.
Right.
Addressing the questions based on where we are in the actual project. If it's during design, those questions should be pertinent to design. If it's during pre-con, or if it's during construction, then we should be changing that. And how do we address the comments from the group? I think it's been a true lesson.
And then the challenge, and you know, not only that, but the challenge in doing that process-wise, I think a good lessons learned for us is being rigid about giving that feedback consistently every time.
For me, collaboration is all about trust. Trusting your partners, trusting that they're going to do what they say they're going to do, and they're going to do it to the best of their ability, and knowing they have your back. And to me, that's what collaboration is. It's communication. It's everything we've talked about today. It's really focusing on several things that we have in the charter, but ultimately, you know, does that person have my back? Does the client have my back? Does the contractor have my back? You know, are we looking at this as a team effort? And to me, that's what collaboration is.
Can I just say what you said? No, I agree. Trust is the #1 element, in my opinion, on a true collaborative team, because then the lines do get blurred, and that's what we're looking for, is able to cross the lines, knowing what it is you're looking for, and having a superintendent who wouldn't normally maybe reach out to you that feels that, hey, I can do this. Yeah. I have a voice.
For me, it's as much about relationship, which to sum it up, it encompasses everything that you guys have talked about. But creating that relationship that I know that I can pick up the phone and call David anytime I need something, and he's going to help me with whatever I need. And the same goes with you and anybody that's working on your staff. We all strive to work together to help each other, and that's something that our contracts today don't catch, is how we help each other. And this has been a special project from that standpoint. Everybody's done a great job with that.
Yeah, if you really trust each other, if you really can collaborate, you can almost just put that contract in the file and not even look at it again.
Right.
And I think once you get that mentality, then you're off and doing a successful project.